So we talked last week about how Mike Gravel was screwed out of the debate stage. He met the threshold of donors, but then the DNC made these other rules about how you needed a certain type of polling, and the polls were the one that they bestowed their blessing upon. So they were able to figure out a way to keep him off of the debate stage. They do this all the time. In 2008, they made up these other rules that got Dennis Kucinich off that stage as soon as possible. This is what the DNC does. They've done it again. Now, this is a problem, but there's also another problem of some of these candidates not having any self-awareness whatsoever. We're going to go see what's going on the campaign trail, in particularly at John Delaney's camp. Check this out. All right, so check this video out. So this is taken in Iowa. So this is from Daniel Newhouser. Delaney's and Bernie's Council Bluffs, Iowa campaign headquarters right next to each other. So Delaney and Bernie, they have their campaign headquarters right next to each other. And this was taken over the weekend. Check this out. I just wrote over So what's going on here is at Delaney's camp, there was literally nothing going on. Like just nothing. Here, check it out. And here, we'll do it without the sound because there's not really anything to hear. All right, so there's no one there. Absolutely no one there. They're asking people to please come in. They're begging people to come in. There's one staffer who can't even pretend to look enthusiastic. And now here's Bernie's. Here's Bernie's. It's packed with people. Packed with people. I mean, look at how sad that is. And they have a thing where they're saying, please come in. They're saying, please, please come in. You know, please come in is the new please clap. John Delaney is the Jeb Bush of the campaign trail so far. That is exactly what he is. Please come in is the new please clap. And no one's there. I mean, it was amazing. There was one staffer standing there. That staffer couldn't even pretend to look excited. I don't blame the staffer. I blame John Delaney for not having any amount of self-awareness. Here's something else that happened. Check this out. John Delaney excited to be on the debate stage in 2 weeks and talk about real solutions to healthcare, public education, economic opportunity, and the impact of technology, not make impossible promises. So here was my response. You have spent millions of dollars to become a grossly unpopular laughingstock. Your ratios on Twitter are horrific. If you weren't trying to deny healthcare to so many people, I'd actually feel sorry for you at this point. Hashtag #DropoutDelaney, which was a hashtag on Twitter that grew in popularity over the weekend. And check out these optics. Boom, 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 boom. John Delaney. John Delaney. Once again, I mean, and if you look at John Delaney's Twitter account, it is horrific. Horatio, the guy from Shakespeare, called John Delaney over the weekend, and he's like, I'm a Shakespearean character. I'm not even a real human, but you need to drop out. I know this. Trust me. I was alive centuries ago, sort of. Not really. I'm a fictional character. But even I know you need to drop out. No, you look at every Twitter ratio. It's absolutely appalling. It's absolutely terrible on his Twitter line. And once again, and I've tweeted at him multiple times. Every single time I've tweeted at him, I ended up getting more likes than he did. I hijacked a thread from him. John Delaney, once again, a comedian who streams a YouTube show from his living room. His co-host is a cat who's sleeping. Comedian streaming a show from his living room with a sleeping cat as a co-host. Once again, hijacked a thread from you. John Delaney has spent millions of dollars, like I said in the tweet, millions of dollars this man has spent on a presidential campaign, only to become a complete mockery. He gets booed most of the time when he talks. I don't even think he has 30,000 followers on Twitter. I think he has less than that. Millions of dollars this man has spent. Millions of dollars. He barely has more Twitter followers than I do. Millions of dollars national television that this man has gotten and his enthusiasm. That video we just showed, that summarizes his enthusiasm. And yet he still is trying to be president. This has a level of delusion, and I'm being sincere when I say this, by the way. I'm not embellishing for the camera's sake, or I'm not even trying to be humorous right now. I mean, this is a level of delusion that should be diagnosed. Like John Delaney at this point, I mean, I question the guy's sanity. I mean, how delusional do you have to be to not have any amount of self-awareness to realize I'm embarrassing myself? I'm humiliating myself. I'm embarrassing myself. I'm embarrassing my family. I'm embarrassing the country. I need to stop this. There is a Democratic clown car with underwhelming candidate after underwhelming candidate after underwhelming candidate. And I am at the bottom of the barrel there. That's where John Delaney is. John Delaney is the equivalent. The amount of delusion John Delaney has to still be in this race. It is the equivalent of, let's say, a guy played high school football, all right? And he was okay. You know, he got some playing time. He did some okay, made some okay plays, maybe even scored a touchdown or two. He was fine. Didn't go on to play college. Just, you know, sat college out. You know, wasn't quite D1 material, decided he wanted to go to a D1 school, whatever, didn't play college football. Then all of a sudden, he's 27 years old, 28 years old, and he decides he's going to play in the NFL. He goes, you know what? I'm playing in the NFL. I feel like, I just feel like I can do this. And people are like, what? You didn't even play college ball. You've barely been working out. You haven't played football in almost a decade, pretty much a decade. You're going to play in the NFL? Yeah, I'm going to play in the NFL. And then somehow he does get into a couple trainings. Maybe he has some workouts. Maybe he gets to sit in on a practice or something like that. Because, hey, stranger things have happened. There have been there have been football players who had an underwhelming college career and maybe got like some type of walk-on opportunity, maybe somehow got on a roster last minute, and then bloomed in the NFL and had a reasonable NFL career. It does happen. So this guy somehow gets something. They're like, hey, you're 28. You haven't played since high school. You're underwhelming then. Maybe you crack some kind of code, though. Let's find out. And he starts playing. He finds out he is worse than he was in high school. His football skills have gotten worse. He's actually a terrible player. He's even worse than he was in high school, and he was average in high school. So at this point, this man is a below average high school football player, and he's 28 years old, and he thinks he's going to play in the NFL, and everybody's worried about him at this point because it's sort of delusional. Now his family's thinking, did he maybe sustain some kind of injury when he was playing, that he has these delusions of grandeur that he can play in the NFL? What's been going on with him? He's slacking off at his day job. He's not showing up on time because he thinks, well, in a couple of years, I'm going to be playing in the NFL. I'm going to be rich. And now his family's thinking about staging an intervention. John Delaney is the equivalent of that in politics. John Delaney is the equivalent of a below average high school football player who is 28 years old, someone who has the skills of a below average high school football player who's 28 years old, who thinks they're going to play in the NFL. That is the delusion of grandeur John Delaney has. And I know he's not really trying to be president. I know he's just trying to make the establishment apple cart happy by staying in there. But don't you have any amount of just self-awareness and you realize what you're doing? You're a tool for an entity that's trying to keep people from getting health care. How do you wake up in the morning, John? And I'm sure John Delaney's not going to watch this video, but on the slim chance that he does, you have to look in the mirror, John Delaney, and you have to go, I have no chance in hell at being president. I'm humiliating myself. I'm tarnishing my name. I'm embarrassing my family. I'm making a mockery of our political process. So in other words, you're making a mockery of something that's already a parody of itself. That's like you're like a mockery squared, basically. You're a parody of a parody of a parody of a parody, but there's nothing humorous about you. And the only purpose you're serving is that you are a tool for an entity that's trying to keep people from getting healthcare, an entity that's fine with the fact that thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people die per year because of lack of healthcare coverage. They're fine with that. They want to continue that. And you're helping them. The only entity you're helping is them. You're not helping this country. That's for damn sure. You're not helping people. You're not helping anybody except for the establishment. And I guess your staff who, that video is any indication, they even know it's time to hang up your spurs. I can't say for sure. I know that there were some rumors that members of his staff told him to quit. As far as I know, that hasn't been verified one way or the other, so I'm not going to say that happened or didn't happen because I don't know. But I will say, if there's anyone on his staff who genuinely calls him a friend, who looks at John Delaney and says, "This is my friend. John Delaney is my friend," they should go up to him and say, you have to, get out. It's time. You're embarrassing yourself. You're humiliating yourself. John Delaney desperately needs a friend. He desperately needs an intervention. The same way the 28-year-old who is a below average high school football player as far as skill is concerned, who's neglecting their day job because they think they're going to play in the NFL. The same way that person needs an intervention, that imaginary person I just made up. That is the level of delusion John Delaney has. Anyway, it'd be nice if he dropped out.
Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together and make it our own. Get your